Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's Freedom Thinking Community Group. The date is the 15th, Monday, the 15th of September, 2025. What the hell? It was nearly Christmas 4 months ago. Look at it now. Sorry, Wendy. Sorry. Look at it now. It's flying through, everyone. Welcome. My name's Dave Ellery. If you're new to our channel, this is Freedom Thinking Community Group. We do these via donation. We do this via donation because we like it if people feel inclined, feel moved to make a donation. We like to make this accessible to people, and we want everybody to have access. We do record these, we do put them on YouTube. Chances are most of you watching this on YouTube anyway. So you'll probably seen that we've got probably hundreds of these things now online. Go and click on them. I try and pull from each week like a rough topic. It's only a rough topic. It might be something that we've spoken about during that evening, sorry. And I use that as the title. So, but if you do listen to them, you'll probably find that there's a lot more covered each week. These we try and allow. Well, Jen's hopefully coming. She's nearer still reading to Luce upstairs. Yeah, Jen and I like to do these like spontaneous for people who are on the group on the night, or for people who send us in emails, send them in WhatsApps or Telegram messages saying, could you have a conversation around this? Could you have a conversation around that? We like them to be present, and we like the interaction, and it gets us thinking, and it allows us to learn something new as well. So thank you everybody for being here. If anybody wishes to make a donation, you can have a look in the description below this video on YouTube, and it's got all the means and wherewithal for doing it. Our best way, our preference is PayPal, friends and family. Or if you wish, get in touch with us and we can send you our bank details and, you know, just anything that cuts out the charges, really, middle people charges. We've potentially got a couple of things coming up. I think there's a retreat coming up in Norfolk in the not too distant future. We haven't finalized anything as yet, but it's in the pipeline. It's being discussed. So that'll be an in-person event. I think it'll be another 4-day event. And also, we think we've got a day event coming up in Essex at some point as well, sometime before Christmas, possibly November, October, November. Jen will know more about the dates to do with that. But we will keep you informed. If you wish to be kept informed, our best way is by being on the WhatsApp or Telegram groups. And if you wish to be on the WhatsApp or Telegram group, we don't spam it, we don't hit it hard. We just let people know when community groups on, what we're up to. Here's the recordings for last night. People just get access to all that kind of stuff. Anything that we're sharing at the time, they get access to it. So you can either be on WhatsApp or Telegram. If you wish to be added to WhatsApp or Telegram, info@freedomthinking.co.uk. Drop us an email and let us know, and we will put your number on there. Again, it's not something that we ask people not to post heavily on it. Just if people wish to communicate between yourselves or communicate directly with us. Otherwise, people just leave. All right, I think we're about there. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment. All right, we're there. Jen will be coming, hopefully, all being well. Okay. Thanks everybody for being here. Does anybody have a topic of conversation for tonight? Wendy.
Hi. I don't know how many other people are in this group today are from the USA, but I think it's a topic for me that is a bit more, citizen of the world kind of thing. We had this assassination last week of a public figure that we really don't know as of today, the 15th of September, what motivated somebody to take a gun and shoot the man in the neck and have him die instantaneously. We don't really know. a lot of thoughts, a lot of suppositions, etc. But what struck me last week in like on Friday, so that happened Wednesday, September 11th was Thursday, which is a big day, 24 years ago in our country, September 11th, when thousands and thousands and thousands of people, well, 3 or 4,000 people died in one fell swoop from a foreign land, foreign group. Somebody made the observation on Friday that I read that was really moving to me. They said, 24 years ago, when we went through September 11th as a country, we were never more unified. And yesterday on September 10th, we've never been more divided. And the juxtaposition of both of those days coming so close was just really moving. Now that's somebody else's perspective, but when they said that, I was struck by that, because in my experience over the past, whatever, 10 years or so, since 2015, since a famous escalator ride, and if you don't know what I mean by that, doesn't matter, but so 10 years ago I would have been 57. I'm 67 now. My country, the vibe of being me walking around in my homeland is vastly different than the first 57 years of my life. Vastly different. I feel I don't recognize a lot of it. It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel appropriate. It doesn't feel good. So that somebody bringing that up as, wow, 24 years ago we were so together, and oh my gosh, we're going to be there to help one another and we'll never forget. And, every year we have this ceremony where every name is read, and there's been so much, I mean, the whole world changed how we get on airplanes, right? Because of that. I mean, nobody goes on an airplane in the same way that we did before 2011 or 2001, 9/11, 2001. Nobody, you know what I mean? Like everything changed, but it felt, I just appreciated in a weird way that somebody brought that up this past Friday, like, because I appreciate it because it aligned with my stomach, my gut, my heart, that it just doesn't feel the same. And I got a sense when I was in the United Kingdom this past August, it was interesting to me that what do I know about your guy Stammer? I don't know anything really about him at all. I really don't know anything about him at all. But I had the happenstance where I think probably 2 or 3 times storekeepers and/or people that I didn't know, that I hadn't met at the retreat, or friends of mine, mentioned how the UK was going to hell in a handbasket, and it felt like a different world, different place, different country, bad news because of how they experienced your assigned leader. So maybe I'm not alone, even though I might be the only American on here today. I might not be alone. Like I said, I think the citizenry of the world. So I don't know if it's a topic so much as it's on my mind.
Well, I think we can glean a pretty significant topic out of it. I'm one of these mad people, personally. My perspective is there's a lot coming out of the woodworks right now. There's a lot of crazy going on. France's government's just collapsed. I don't think ours is far behind. Nepal overturned their government in a day and a half last week. Okay, you've got what's going on in America, you've got what's going on in South America. This is happening globally. It's happening all at once. there was talk on the BBC the other day of a march taking place in London of between 100 and 150,000 people. I saw some drone footage of that march. There was not 150,000 people. There was over 1 million people. There has to have been over 1 million people. This sea of people marching through London, all fed up with one thing or another. No, I saw that footage with my own eyes. I haven't been able to find. Anybody's interested, I can send them it. But it's not being broadcast on BBC. It's been played down massively, and I think we're at a very, very interesting time as a group of people on this planet. I think what we are seeing is what is becoming very, very apparent is that we all live in separate realities. But the bit that's missing as of yet is the realization that we all live in separate realities. En masse, that part, that most important, most valuable thing that we could realize at this present moment in time, that no two people on earth see the world the same, it's starting to come to the surface in one way or another. And sadly for Charlie Kirk and his family and friends and people that love him and cared about him, and for those, like, I love what Wendy's saying, because I get the impression that Charlie Kirk wouldn't have been one of the first people invited to sit around a Christmas table. But what I do hear from Wendy, yeah, is that right? Am I got that totally wrong?
Are you saying, let's assume that I knew Charlie Kirk as a human being and he was my neighbor or my friend, knowing what he thinks about certain things and knowing what I think about certain things, would I invite him to my Christmas table?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you that the answer is yes. And
Cool.
the reason is because um he and I share something that's deeper and broader in my mind, which is our faith in the origins of the world and who's spinning the world and who is love. This,
Yeah.
to my mind, this conversation, the Three Principles, talks about love. And to me, love has an author and a perfecter and a creator and has a name. And I know that that's not everybody's belief, which is fine. But Charlie Kirk and I held that belief in concert. And
Yeah.
so yes, I would invite him to my Christmas dinner,
Love it, Wendy.
but I
Love
wouldn't invite Trump.
it. You'd have had some wonderful conversations sat around your Christmas table then. You can sit down, Charlie. There's one thing that's not on the menu at this table. Appreciate that. I appreciate that, Wendy. It's such an interesting time to be alive, where we really are seeing the polarization in our society and it's almost like people are feeling obliged to pick a side, and we call these sides, we call them right wing, left wing, center, you call them whatever the hell you want. Nobody fits entirely into one side. It's a sliding scale, everybody's different. But one of the things that I keeps coming to mind for me is that this world is not going to change when we all think the same. This world is going to change for the better when we accept other people's realities. We don't have to agree with them. We don't have to like their point of view. But it doesn't mean we have to hate them. Just because somebody doesn't think like me, does that give me right to shoot somebody or kill somebody or beat somebody up or put somebody down? What the hell's going on for me at that point if I was to do that? What's going on for me? Why am I feeling so vulnerable at that point? Why do I have to be the right one? But that's where we're at the moment, en masse. There is this pick a side, pick an identity, pick any identity you want, pick anything, pick whatever gender, pick your political viewpoint, pick your religion, pick your, if you're in the principles, pick your favorite person who speaks about the principles. Pick this, pick that, identify with this, identify with that. And it seems like there's just such a strong identity in the false, in what really isn't true, in the ideas. There's such a strong identity in ideas at the moment, and concepts and beliefs that are becoming so kind of entrenched that it's reaching the point where people are, in the case of America, there seems to be an assassination attempt every few months. And again, it doesn't matter which political side you choose to vote for. I don't think anybody in the right mind, in their self, in their true soul self, in their true humanity, would say it's acceptable to hurt another person over their point of view. And I think if anybody is coming out, and I've been reading things online about certain military officials and stuff coming out saying Charlie Kirk deserved to be killed for what he's done. And those people are lacking in humanity. Those people are lagging behind when it comes to awakening. Those people are not people who I would look to as role models or leaders for the world going forward, because I believe the role models and leaders for this world going forward have to incorporate love into their every single fucking conversation. Not division, not hatred.
Yeah. Can I share something else I
Yeah,
saw?
completely.
There's a congressman, which is a government official in our country. Her last name is Mace, M-A-C-E. And it's an interesting name now that I think about it. Anyway, right after the assassination, she was pretty sure that whoever perpetrated that crime was on the left, maybe transgender themselves, very woke, like very, identity politics to the max. She was pretty sure. A lot of people assumed that, because who else would want Charlie Kirk dead except somebody of that ilk? So she was very convinced that's what it was. And so in the days subsequent, he has been arrested and brought in and so forth, and his family is a right-leaning family. His upbringing is very right-leaning. There's some indications that he might belong to a group of MAGA, which is, I don't know how many words I need to explain, but the MAGA sensibility, there's a group inside MAGA that says it's not enough, it's not right-leaning enough. And so there's a group of people within that realm that says Charlie Kirk was pretty good, but he should have gone further in his stance on things and his declarations. And so there's some indication that this young man that was arrested or whatever that perpetrated this crime was part of an ultra right wing. So in the days after, Nancy Mace is her name, said that transgender lefty weirdo, we need to, I don't know if she used the word eliminate, but for the sake of this conversation, let's just say she was like, hang them high. I'm sick of this crap. We got to get rid of these people. Who do they think they are? Blah, blah, blah. And then as time went on over the weekend, where it seemed like the person could have been more right-leaning, she said, oh my gosh, this poor young man, so misguided. Let us pray. And I was like, whoever killed him was misguided. Whoever killed him was not in their right mind, like you said. Whoever killed him, for whatever reason, wasn't reason enough to assassinate anybody. And if you are literally a person of faith, which Nancy Mace proclaims to be, then whoever Right. So it's interesting to me. I mean, that's the kind of layering and litmus testing that we're doing is very fine tuning. Like, I'm a Protestant. What if Charlie Kirk were a Catholic? Maybe there'd be some people in my world that says, oh, he's not the right kind of Christian. Do you know what I mean? Like, we just keep drawing lines and lines and lines and lines. I mean, and it doesn't ever, well, it needs to go back to love. When will it? How will it? And part of that, I think, is what we're doing right here,
Totally love
having conversations about love and where it comes from. So I don't mean to go off,
it.
but anyway.
No, I appreciate Wendy. I really appreciate it, love. You know, I'm not an American, but I think this is a really important conversation because this conversation we're talking about, may hold a beautiful crystal. I found it whilst I was my friend gave us that for our wedding. Because this isn't just a conversation about a particular nation. It's a conversation about ourselves. It's a conversation about our families. It's a conversation about our communities, and it's a conversation about the world. You know, you just said, you know, we keep drawing lines, we keep drawing lines, we keep drawing lines, we keep drawing lines, we keep drawing lines. And what we forget is these lines are a thought thick, as Sid Banks would say. It's a thought thick. You know, we've got to the point now where, well, it's not now. It's always been the case. It's, you know, this isn't, and this what's happening now isn't new. This is fucking ancient. This is ancient. We're some of the lucky people who are starting to come up out of that kind of way of thinking, that blinkered, tunnel visioned, egocentric, innocently egocentric way of thinking. We're starting to notice that there's another door. And we've had a taste of what's through that other door, and we've decided that no, you know, this room's far more beautiful than the last room. I want to spend more time in this new room. However, the door's still open, so I can still see. But we've been privileged enough, if you're on this call, you're listening to this, you've been touched by something, to whatever level. It's perfect for you. It's perfect for me. Whatever level we've felt something within ourselves, and we've decided that no, we don't want to live in that kind of world anymore. And so what we've chosen to do is we've chosen to start to understand ourselves. That's what we've chosen to do. We've chosen to start to understand ourselves. Because there's a beautiful thing in Buddhism where they speak about, you know, stop trying to change the world. You'll never make it. Change yourself and the world will change. And that is so true. When people have jumps in consciousness, they start to live in different worlds. They literally walk on a different reality. They literally see a different reality. Certain aspects of society may disappear, as in my case. You know, when I used to get into fights, when I woke up, I would say 95% of the people I used to have arguments with or kick off with, they disappeared, and I haven't seen them to this day. I can't explain it other than I shifted in consciousness and I can't see them. That's what death is, I think. But if we learn to understand ourselves deeper, we help to facilitate living collectively in a far greater world. That potential will always exist for the likes of things taking place on this planet, as like Charlie Kirk and all the other atrocities that have taken place over the last God knows how many thousands of years. I feel like
it's interesting. Can I add something?
Yeah.
Because I don't know if it's the same thing you guys are talking about, because I don't watch the news, but I've just got a message from my work. We work with lots of young people, and they were saying lots of the young people on YouTube are watching someone get assassinated. So I'm guessing it's the same thing.
It is, yeah, I guess so.
And and it is that sort of like the instruction we've got given is just like, if they bring it up, like keep conversation really open, listen, you know, and just let them speak what comes up for them and stuff like that. But what it's made me reflect on a little bit, just listening, and you know, with my own children, I've got 2 boys, and they've started talking about sexing this and like stuff, which is, I sort of want to I just want to shut it down. Like, it's not okay. Like, it's not okay to watch this. It's not okay to do this. It's not okay to do this. But I think what I just heard in the conversation was a little bit like, no, it's actually that separate realities, and also just like knowing that no one is, there's something that always comes back to me when I say to my kids, it's just like, no one's being a dick on purpose, you know, there's reasons why people are doing what they're doing, and you know, everyone was, you know, was born this baby, you know, and it's like not to forgive, but just how important it is to keep grounded with a love. And I've lost my trail of thought, but it was that sort of come back to a simplicity or something of what we are and what we're made of. And because it's mental out there, you know, and life is simple.
Yeah.
That was my my WhatsApp. Hi, Jen.
Hiya.
So Wen was just opened up by saying it's been a hard week being an American again, following the shooting of Charlie Kirk. So we're just having a conversation around that, really. And yeah, it is simple, sir. And I think that's one the great hope for this planet. Thank fuck it's simple. You know, if it was complicated, we'd be fucked. You know, we can barely deal with simple at the moment, but if it was complicated, it would be game over. But it's so simple. You know, this is when people, I think that's why people like this. You were speaking with somebody recently, weren't you, who her whole family's neurodivergent, and she's been in therapy for 10 years, and you had a brief conversation with her, and you said you didn't even, because Lucia was doing whatever, you were kind of like just blah, 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 and you said a couple of things, but you really got her attention, and she was interested in this conversation because it was simple.
Well, I think I really saw that what we share is so simple when I was listening, because I listened a lot, and then I realised how you take for granted what you have seen and how simple life does become, because it was so complicated, and all of the variables to being well, in what her story was, meant kind of mental health seemed impossible almost. And it's always a future-based thing if you do enough work. So I felt really grateful. So I just had, I can't even remember what I said, but I said, if you want to chat, let me know. So she has said, we arranged a couple of times to meet up, but children dominate a little bit. So we're going to try and do like an evening Zoom call when they're asleep. So probably like 9 o'clock to guarantee they're actually asleep. But yeah, I think there's the simplicity of this I think at any time, but at the moment there seems to be so much going on. I don't really, like, for my own mental wealth, I don't really pay much attention. Like, my main role at the moment is to be a mum, and I know that when I get too distracted by all the stuff in the world, I'm not present with her. And even sometimes when you've read things, I'm like, do I need to know this? If I don't need to know it, I don't want that in my mind right now. I just want to be present. And you know, this last week with Lucia, I've just taken her to groups, we've done our thing, and all this stuff's been going on. And I feel so grateful that I'm somewhere where that is, I haven't got all this stuff that's right on my doorstep. And I think finding more gratitude for the moments of peace and the moments of presence, and all the beautiful things that we know are available to us keeps us grounded. Because I think it's very easy to get things catch our attention, headlines, someone talking in a cafe. So like it's everywhere really, like movies, the television. But I think
Mobile phones.
yeah, on my phone, I don't know how you can't turn it off. If you swipe the wrong way, suddenly all these news feeds come up, like with headlines and things. But I think the principles are a wonderful way to like keep bringing you back to where does life exist and where is reality. And I think it seems so tempting, and it seems, I don't know why we get so taken with it, but I guess that's why they spend millions on marketing and
Do you know
stuff.
why?
It's
Because we're fucking nosy creatures.
and gossip.
That we're gossips. You know, I think that's it. We're really, really interested in other people getting it wrong.
I loved it the other day because your sister was really surprised that two of our friends separated like 6 months ago, and she's like, "Why didn't I know this?" And I was like, "I don't know. It wasn't particularly nice news. I didn't feel like sharing it." But I feel like so often we feel like it's our duty to inform people of news and
Yeah,
what's going on.
especially bad news. It's such
Yeah.
But it's interesting because at the same time, you know, one of the things that you can, I don't know, perhaps I'm wrong, but one thing I may feel I could draw a correlation between would be this present time and the interconnectedness of mankind all at once. Spontaneous, interconnected information sharing, you know, and we don't watch the news. We don't even watch television, do we? I remember my mate saying, my first wife and I chucked out our television, got rid of it. And my mate said, "What do your chairs face?" I'm like, "Each other." "What do you do of an evening?" "None of your business, mate." And no, we just got rid of it. And we noticed that our life became so much better. One, because we had more time in the day, because we didn't have to sit down and watch something. And, you know, people feel like it's almost like their civic duty to be informed. But I remember when I woke up, one of the things that hit me hard is, oh, the news, the media is a separate reality too. You know, it's got its bias according to whoever is editor of that news channel. It's got its bias. It's got a human being behind it who's got his own agenda, got her own agenda, funded, unfunded, I don't know. I don't want to get involved in that. But the news is a separate reality. And you only have to watch a few news channels and see them tell different stories, you know, read this different newspapers about the same thing to get a different perspective on it, or to see, no, that's true. The news is a separate reality too. But more often than not, what you're hearing about is somebody else's life, somebody you've never met, somebody you don't know. You know, we invite into our homes the world's ills every single time we put the news on. We invite it into our front room. We invite the suffering of the world into our homes, into our consciousness. Come in, come on in, come on in. I want to hear about all your suffering. Now, I'm not being unsympathetic, because I think if anybody knows me, they know that if I ever came across somebody who desperately needed help, they'd get it from me. I would help them. However, if I don't know them and that story doesn't actually affect me, what I am literally listening to is gossip, because I'm assuming that the newsreader doesn't know them either. I'm assuming that the editor doesn't know those people. It's gossip. It's a perspective and it's gossip. I personally am not a gossip. I don't like gossip. I don't like talking about people behind their backs. But somehow we've ended up in the societal norm that's acceptable en masse. You know, you can take anybody. You just have to look at the newspaper now and you'll read all about somebody's life you don't know. You'll formulate an opinion on them. I like that person. I don't like that person, based on what you've actually read, even though you've never actually shared a conversation or a moment together. And we end up in this brainwashed state of being where we think we know somebody because of somebody else's opinion. And that's why I love the fact that you sit back and go, do you know what? I just don't get involved in any of that. I'm going to bring up my daughter and I'm going to enjoy my life, because that is the gift that I'm blessed with. I am blessed with the opportunity on this earth, right here, right now, to enjoy my life. I was a man who actually at one point was so desperately upset with what was happening in the world, I didn't feel I had a right to be happy. Because how can I be happy when there's all that going on over there in the world? How can I be happy when this is happening to them? How can I be happy when that's happening to them? And then one day it dawned on me, because do you know what? They would love to be in your position, Dave, and you're wasting it. Who the fuck are you to waste your happiness? Who are you not to celebrate your own life? That hit me hard when I realized that. I'm not helping them by going into suffering. The way I help people is by, I become a lighthouse. I become light. I become love. I become joyful in the hope that when I'm joyful and interact with other people, it gives them an opportunity to be joyful. And then when they become joyful, they can go off and interact with their people. Isn't that how we spread love around this world? You are never going to spread love through hate and separation. It's bullshit. Bombing our way to peace, intimidating our way to an ends, controlling our way to sanity and peace for people. No, it's not the way it's going to come. The peace is going to come when we allow people to think differently, even people in our own family. And this is something I've been having to learn myself. This is something I am fucking humble about. Even when it comes to our own families, allowing them to have their realities, allowing them to have their own thoughts, allowing them to make their own decisions, and loving them if you don't like them. Still finding that space within you that loves them and cherishing that part and noticing that part and growing that part, as opposed to the need to be right. We've done that bit to death. I hope Charlie Kirk's death. Oh, boom, I just want to read what I've written. Yeah, I hope Charlie Kirk's death. I don't think it will go in vain. I think it's an opportunity for people to love. I feel like it's a real opportunity for people to come together in love. A real opportunity for human growth, for us to look at one another and go, yeah, right, I don't agree with you, but do I agree with that? Well, I agree with that less than I agree with you. Hopefully that's the way people are going to start seeing things, because if that's the way people start to see things, this world's going to start changing for the better. I think that's where we're going. I'm pretty frigging confident that the way this world is going to end up in the not too distant future is on a very different path, and it's going to be a beautiful place. I think we'll all live to see it. But the problem that we have with this killing is delusional people, of which I personally am responsible of being from time to time. I don't sit here as some kind of holier than thou human being. No, I'm certainly not. But that behavior is completely created from the idea that outside of my mind, there is a reality that is inflicting upon itself upon me. And that creates an awful lot of fear for people. That illusion creates an awful lot of fear for people. So if the only thing that people really start to understand is, this is why it goes back to Sarah's simplicity, if the only thing people really start to become aware of is, shit, the only thing I'm ever experiencing is my own mind, just that. Well, all of a sudden you eliminate all those other false gods. You eliminate them, all those other sources of experience, and you narrow it down to one point. And it's a point where there isn't any victim. It's a point where you realize you can walk through this life and you can never be destroyed, because the only thing you're ever experiencing is your own mind. The way you think about something is how it appears. You change your mind about something, it appears different. You start to realize that reality isn't outside of you, it's inside of you. The reality you encounter that you call your life, the only thing you can ever know, the only thing you can ever experience, was never outside of you. It was always inside of you. It was the perspective that we make up about the planet we walk upon and all the people we meet in every single place we go. Every single bit of gossip we get to hear about, we make up a story. True, false, right, wrong, good, bad. The Buddhists have this saying, take the middle route, the middle way. Middle path. Thank you. The middle path. What's the middle path? It's balance. It's not people out of balance. It's people who are just, yeah, okay, I hear your point of view. Yeah. Do I agree with you? No, but you know, I still love you.
When you were saying you think, you know, this world is changing, I think the gift that I felt was given to me learning about the principles was that Sid realized that a shift in consciousness, you live in a new world in any single moment. And I think, I don't know, we can take it out of the moment and think that there's certain things all of us place our well-being on some false gods, but the simplicity of coming back to know that peace on earth exists within us as a
Correct.
potential now.
Yeah.
And I think that is humbling when I get lost, but I know it exists. But it is that thing that keeps bringing me back.
As well, isn't it?
And I think there's been different people come along in the principles community at different times and tried to say that they found something better or deeper, and maybe for them that's their way, that they found that place within themselves, and then that becomes their false god. But I know that the principles was something described and pointed to within me, that I found that place within me, and I try and point that to that place within people, so then it doesn't become about anything else, that actually all of the power exists within you to have a loving, beautiful life. It exists within you now as a potential, and then with the potential to create and misery and suffering, and so much of the time the people who I am working with who are creating suffering, like right now, immediately, there isn't always like a threat, but it's almost like they're in a war zone. Like it's almost like it's life and death, because it's how we seem to live. We get so lost in our own creations, we become so afraid. And I feel like more and more and more, since I've been around this anyway, it's just, you wake up, what am I doing to myself? Where have I been? How lost have I got? And the other part of it was like, any of these things that are brought to our table and we take in, if we go into a fear, then we're immediately thinking about future. So we're out of the moment. If we start getting judgmental, we're thinking about something that's happened, so immediately in the past. So you can see that all of these things are taking us out of the moment. And I think the principles has allowed me, I still choose not to watch the news. It just doesn't, I never have, even before the principles. But I feel like I can be way more discerning. And like the feeling, like we heard something the other day about somebody local, which I overheard, I think someone was telling you about, like they were going to go to a protest and all of that stuff. I don't want to go into it.
The old lady.
I have no idea who it is. But suddenly I found myself like going into like panic, thinking, oh my God, is this the way the world's going? And, you know, worrying about privacy and thinking of that book, is it 1982 or 1984? And I just caught myself like, hang on a minute, right now, do I need to think about this? No. Right now, is there anything I need to do about this? And I'm like, no, there's nothing I need to do about this right now. And I came back. But I think that's the power of discernment and of understanding that the only time we really have any power is now. Because if we run off into the future and get in fear and panic, that's what we're bringing to the world. And I think when I found the principles, it was recognizing that yes, we have this infinite capacity to create reality, but the deeper point was that there is something before all of that that we are, and then there's no separation or difference in that. And actually that's untouchable. That's the space that's unbreakable, untouchable. And then we get to play the game of life of feeling broken and feeling affected by things, but it is all stories.
Mm.
And I know for a fact that in any moment we have everything we need within us to deal with a situation that we're confronted with. I've seen it in my own life. I've heard of stories of people, like, in the moment, what we struggle with is our imagination of how we deal with whatever situation we come up with. We've got what we need within us to live life, whatever it brings. Like, we've got one of the girls that came to our retreat told an incredible story. She didn't go into huge detail, just about her life and what she's overcome at the age of 21. And like, as you listen, you almost think, how on earth could somebody overcome some of those things?
Let
She's-
alone stand there as that human being.
As someone so full of love and desire to
Joy.
help, and yeah, and fun.
Yeah, she's fun.
And I think that's why I loved filming the Three Principles movies, because we got to go and see people from all walks of life waking up to what the potential within them was. Like, despite the past, despite what's happening right now, peace exists within me. It's my core. And I think that is grounding, and that,
Hopeful.
well, it allows us to find our bearings again. And I always remember when you got so stressed out, and it'd been you said it was the worst you'd felt in years. It was for a few months, and then one night you couldn't sleep and your mind was going mad, and then the question just came into your head: is there anything I need to think about right now?
No, is there anything I truly need to worry about in this lifetime? It was. And my mind just went silent. That was it. I went to sleep. Next night, same again. I asked the question again, is there anything I need to worry about in this lifetime? I went silent. I learned something deep throughout all that we don't need to worry about anything. When I woke up, personally, for me, it was the most mind-blowing experience. I couldn't glean all the information out of it in a wanna. I can still go back to that moment now and I can learn something. Go back right this moment, I could learn something universal about life. And that's what I've been doing now for 13 years, I think it is. I've been reflecting or been given a little bit of information from whatever you want to call it, within ourselves. And then going back to the moment and saying, oh yeah, that's present too. Oh yeah, that's true. Given what I saw, yeah, that's true as well. That's true as well. You know, it's been an ongoing learning from that moment onwards, which is probably why I sit here as a total human being. And well, that's what it's all about.
What are you going to become?
I don't know. You don't know. You have these.
We thought you were going to maybe become a monk.
I was going to become a monk because I didn't know what else to do after that.
They're still human beings.
But they're still human beings too. And I've lost my train of thought now, sir.
That's what I interrupted you.
That's right.
You
Can
can
I
teach-
share something?
Yeah.
So something really sad and really beautiful happened in our community this week, and a boy called Joseph. He's I think he's 26 or 28, and he passed. He got blood poisoning, and then within, I think it's 8 weeks, he's just gone. And what was really beautiful was how people really do know what to do when actual shit happens. And people came together. They just gathered. They lit a fire. They stayed together for 4 days. They were just, and you could feel him, like he was dead, but you could feel him, and you could feel his absolute joy and his laughter, and then everyone's just doing everything. Like, everyone is just offering everything, and I offered to massage the family, and I gave a massage to, and the people care, and I gave a massage to someone a couple of days ago, and it was so effortless. And there is something about human nature when well, we all know that when stuff actually happens and we can do something, we do, and it's easeful, and I think what it's really brought up for me is how it's really shown me again how much more, how we're so much more than this body, and I'm really, really grateful for that. I'm really grateful to feel Joseph. I'm really grateful to feel him and know that these senses and this experience of life, it's like when I play my flute, and it's like the life force is running through all of us, and it's like, what do we want to do with this? It's like, what do we want to make out of this? Like, and it's such an honor to see like so many people come together and look after this family and each other, and that's humankind. And it's broken me apart this week, just going like, that's what we're about, actually. And it happens everywhere. It happened, where that's what we're made for. And it's so beautiful, because I've been a bit like Mimi, not me, but I can get quite like parenting obsessed in a way, and worrying about my kids. And what it did for me, like with Joseph passing, it was like, it made me look up. It made me go, what can I give? I can give massage. And then from giving, it's like, I don't know, it's just then it's like you open a vessel, actually. And then as soon as I got offered a job, like in the clinic, they're just like, oh God, we'd love you to be part of the team. And it was like, and it's so different from like last week, me just my sort of pretty much average state of just sort of getting on. I'm not like I'm a lovely person, but I'm just quite, I can just focus on my world and my kids and my kids and my kids and my kids. And that's just so nice to look up and go, actually, who else is here? Hello. Oh, I can help you. And then when you help, it's like a whole nother world opens. And I just wanted to share that, because we've all got, that's what we've got access to as well, like all the time, but we just don't, I don't see it most of the time.
I was just gonna say, I sent a talk to my dad because it was a little clip of the Dalai Lama speaking, and it was something like the cure to anxiety is altruism. So again, that's it was just a title, but what he was saying is, when we are thinking of other people and not thinking about ourselves, we generally don't suffer anxiety, because it's when we start thinking about ourselves. So it's not like now I'll just go out and do things for other people, because it has to be more natural. But like you said, it feels like that's what arose in everybody, was to be in service at that time for the family, for the community. And it does feel different when we stop just spending time thinking about ourselves, because actually we're built with the knowledge and the ability to live life. But we've learned to think about it so much that we distract and miss so much of life, that it feels like something came up and you just were guided, led. It wasn't about you anymore. It was just about how.
And I think like even when it's my kids, it's like, it's still about me. It's like when it's about friends and family, I don't know, it tends just to, it's the same old, it's actually about us anyway. So it was good to be like, there was no effort in it at all. It just felt human. It just felt human nature coming, and it's for everyone. I did very little, but it's so beautiful to watch it all unfold. And yeah,
That old saying, isn't it? To give is to receive.
mm.
So true. You know, when you give from, if you give out of obligation, nah, you're probably going to get pissed off about that. But when you give with your heart, when you give out of love, when you give out of truly wanting to help somebody, you get filled up. You get to live in the most beautiful experience. It's such a wonderful thing. It's funny because what you're just speaking about, I wrote this down about half an hour ago. Humanity is built from the fabric of love. That was just something I thought I'd just take the conversation in the direction of, but you're right, love. When the shit hits the fan, you want to know what humanity is really about. Watch when the shit hits the fan. Watch when an earthquake happens. You know, watch people who don't know one another risk their own lives to help the next person. You know, watch them come together, share essentials, you know, and come together and work out what to do next. We're far more efficient together. We're far more powerful as a cooperative. And I feel like every time we have a tragedy, like we've spoken about from the moment this conversation was opened, or the tragedy that your community faced there, that you face personally, you know, we have an opportunity to come together. And I love the fact that your community, Sarah, took that opportunity, and they ran with it, and look at the experiences, and look what opens up. Look what opens up as a consequence of it. We had a client a couple of weeks ago who came and did 4 days with us, and Alistair, if you're watching, lad, he won't mind me talking about it. Well, it's in the newspaper anyway, so but he said, I'm going to swim at Devil's Bridge, and he jumped off, and as he jumped off, he landed badly and fractured his back. He broke his back. One of the things he said was, when I saw the amount of people, air ambulance, ambulances, fire brigade, swift water rescue, police, when I saw all the people who showed up for me, he said, all those people interrupted their days to show up for me. He said, I started crying. He said, I've never felt so loved in all my life. Or words to that effect. You know, he just fractured his back. And yet he was still having that experience. Similar to myself when I cut my thumb with my chainsaw one time. I was climbing and stuck my chainsaw on my thumb, and my fault. But I had this catheter in when they're doing the operation, and do I want full anaesthetic, general anaesthetic, or do I want localized anaesthetic? They're asking me. I'm like, block. I'm like, I want full anaesthetic, but I know that a block's probably going to be better for me in the long run. I'm going to go, block. Just don't even ask me again. Just block me up and stitch me up and get me the hell out of there. And I lay there, because I'm a total pussy out when it comes to things like that. And I lay there. I used to go and give blood. I'd turn up in my tree surgery outfit and go, if I pass out, just carry on. Just carry on. And they're like, you don't look like that. I'm like, I know I don't. Looks so deceiving. And I lay there on this bed, and they put this screen. They're saying, do you want to watch? No, I don't want to watch. And I lay there on this bed, and I just saw all these people around me, and I got, like Alistair, got filled with love. I was like, wow, I am literally surrounded by angels on earth right here, right now. You people only do this because you care about people. That's why you do this. Why else would you go into that profession? Unless you care about people, unless you love people. And in that moment, I was surrounded by angels, and I started crying. And this nurse, who was so loving and kind, saw me crying and knocked me out. Stuck a syringe in my catheter, in whatever it is. What's it called? Not catheter. She didn't put a syringe in my catheter. That thing.
IV line.
Thank you. My IV line.
What's the thing that's in the hand though?
The butterfly,
What would we call it in England, Shire?
cannula.
Thank you.
Cannula.
The cannula.
Yeah.
Catheter. I knew it was a K. and an at the end.
Like, why do you need a catheter if you
Yeah,
have a thumb operation?
She just came and knocked me out, but I was actually crying. I was having the most beautiful experience. She thought I was suffering and just put me out. But you're right, sir. And I think that's the thing where we have every opportunity with things like this. 9/11. You mentioned that earlier on, when an opportunity to come together in love. An opportunity for certain individuals who aren't very loving to hijack things and take them in other directions that they see fit as well. But I think the more awake we become, the more in alignment with love become, the more jarring those kind of people become to our being, the more we see that for what it is, and we start to see the ignorance of some of the people who are perhaps in positions of power that haven't got human beings' best interests at heart. But I think that it's because of the rising that is taking place right now. You know, the fact that we have these conversations, the fact that this is just one conversation, there are thousands of conversations going on around this planet right now, talking about interesting stuff, talking about esoteric stuff, talking about stuff you will not learn at school or university, talking about stuff you won't even learn in church. You know, it's like we're learning about the nature of who and what we actually are. And we're learning from each other. Mankind is raising itself out of the shithole that it's been in, and it's bringing itself up to the surface, where it can take a nice deep breath, have a reassess, and decide where it wants to go next. This reality is a reflection of consciousness, according to quantum physics. The physical world, this physical dimension, is a reflection of consciousness. It's a reflection of mankind's consciousness. The world we live in personally is a reflection of our consciousness. But the more people that live on higher elevated planes of reality, the more humanity raises its consciousness, the more we help people through it. You know, according to the double slit experiment, every single electron photon is aware it's being observed. Electron, photon, they're some of the building blocks of physical dimension. They are aware of mankind's or nature's consciousness. So as the consciousness changes, we have to start building a new world, not through effort, not through fighting, not through fighting this, fighting that, but through simply aligning with new realities that already exist, they already exist. It's here now, it's ready for us. We just need to align with it consciously, and we enter it. We are a spiritual being in a spiritual dimension. And this spiritual dimension is just one of infinite spiritual dimensions. We are quantum beings. Mind is infinite. It doesn't have a beginning or an end. It doesn't even have a name. It's just pure potential, pure creative potential. And when we don't,
give it a name.
to give it a name. When we don't know that, we believe everything that it creates, and we just see it as a reality, and we don't question it because it looks real. We shoot people. We spend more on weapons than we do anything else on this planet. Our best technology that's handed to the human beings, to the average person, comes from the military. Isn't that interesting? We get all the military's hand-me-downs. Like, the best technology on the planet is within the military industrial complex. The most advanced technologies within the military industrial complex, the complex that is designed to fight one another. They would call it peacekeeping. I wouldn't call it peacekeeping personally. I think as soon as you start commercializing war, creating weapons that need selling, you're going to need war in order to keep them selling. It's just such an interesting observation that, you know, at the moment where we put our most funding, our most taxpayers' money collectively goes to fighting wars that the vast majority of people on this planet don't even agree with, and they don't benefit from them anyway. but a small group of people do. And those people are the people who need the love the most, because those are the most lost people on the planet. Some of them. Some of the most lost. I just can't see it going any other way other than for those who want to. The world has to start getting better. I seem to remember a talk where Sid Banks said this. He said something along the lines of, no, that's right. He said, don't look out there. He said, trust me, this world's going to get worse and worse and worse. He said, you've got to look inside. Look inside for the truth. Only then can you do something. I think he said something along those lines. It's true. Because the outside world is created from the inside of people. War doesn't start outside of people, it starts inside of people. Whether that's globally, politically, or in the family, or even against ourselves. It's all coming from inside. I feel like I think it was you, sir, might have been Wend. Just one of you kind of spoke but didn't use the word discernment. We're learning to be more discerning with how we choose to be in this world. And that's the opportunity we are being given at this moment to wake up and decide, who do I want to be in this world? How do I want to be in this world? What do I want to bring to this world? Do I want to bring more division and hostility and judgment and condemnation, the very thing that creates suffering and war and killing and destruction? Or do I want to bring into this world more out of myself? Do I want to bring, as you went, do I want to bring less judgment, more acceptance, more capacity for love? Both of you spoke about that. Do you have a cup of tea? Let's have a cup of tea. Do you have 5 minutes? Let's go and put kettle on. Back in 5.
25 past.
It's 20 past. Right, welcome back. I know I'm watching on catch up. It's a seamless transition. Welcome back. Got cups of tea. We've just eaten some chocolate. Thanks to Mill and Ollie, our mates who just got married. And it says in the chocolate bar here, I've just spilt it everywhere, haven't I?
Yeah.
It says, love always wins. Which I really like. Cool. Does anybody want to say anything?
How are you guys doing?
Dave, how are you?
Oh, it's 5:30 a.m. I'm still lying in bed though. I managed to get up without an alarm, but I apologize for being late. Sorry.
Detention, mate. Detention.
Yeah.
When Lucia wakes up at 5:30, I always tell her it's still the middle of the night. Go back to sleep.
Yeah, I think the thing is, once I wake up, I mean, maybe it's a residual from everything, but my mind starts thinking, and but it comes down at some point. But it's just the nature; it revs up before I open my eyes. So.
Good to know.
Yeah, good to know.
Just good to know. Yeah. Dave, you got a direction you want to take the conversation?
Thank you. Nobody. Yeah, it's just there was something from an experience last week. So just my reflection on it is, so given my tendency to go into rumination, overthinking, worry. And there was an issue which was playing on my mind. It was a financial one regarding a personal loan, and it took me. It's like, should I answer? Should I send an email to the broker and not do that? Not yes. What if? Usual ruminating, catastrophic outcome thinking. And then I sent as one with clarity in a sort of inspired moment, which is the best thing, bypassing all that what ifs. And a series of emails later, I managed to get clarifications, although two of them from my fear thinking, but managed to get clarification. So, when you stop, when something which resolves, you get that feeling of, oh, thank God that's over or something. Well, that was one evening of no thinking really, because there was like, oh, yeah, that's good, or something, that's calm. Is this how life is supposed to feel or not feel? I mean, I'm aware a bit that life is life or something, but a lot of it is spent in that what ifs and white knuckling. But when you do get those moments of respite, I sort of like notice them clearly because they're just heaven. But then comes an underlying creep by creep. I can see it clearly. All right, that's over. Now, what next to think on? What next to create a problem of? What next to catastrophize? And then something else took over. But I was onto it. But like, oh yeah, here we go again. The same thing, part two, part three, part four. And so you're onto it. And the life goes on. You do the next best thing in front of you, blah, blah, blah. But underlying that is always that, what next? What, like a little subtle voice. I would prefer to have the other voice, which is life, this, just it's all thought. And another state of mind as the possibility to come,
I
this
would.
yeah, all that. Yeah, anyway, sorry.
Well, I wouldn't want that thought. Which one? It's all thought. No. That'll be the last thing personally that I would want to live my life thinking. Our life is a reflection of thought. True. But it's thought that allows us to have this most wonderful experience. It's thought that allows us to walk through this life and engage with it. It's thought that allows us to play. It's thought that allows us to grow. It's thought that allows us to realize. It's thought that allows us to know. It's thought that allows us to learn. It's thought. No, I wouldn't want to walk through life like that personally. That would be overthinking. In my book, that would be overthinking. I'm really grateful, and we often say this, don't we? Jen and I, we've realized what we realized, to whatever depth we realized it, God knows. But one of the things it allowed us to do was to stop talking about our thoughts, to just have thought and to have experience and to have feelings and to learn and to notice and to see what's actually important. And I don't know, I think we can really turn thought into an enemy, but it's not an enemy. It's a neutral creative force, an infinite neutral creative force. I think we take our thoughts far too seriously. Even the idea that, I know I'm not taking it, but I don't take it seriously. But I think we can turn thought into a thinking exercise. It's not a thinking exercise. It's an infinite creative force. So no, I mean, each to their own. Each to their own, but personally, I'm eternally grateful. I don't walk through life going, "Oh, this is." Jen, I think I love you. That's as deep as it goes. That's as deep as it goes. Just so you know, it's a thought thick, right?
That's true.
You know, I'm glad I don't live my life like that. I'm glad I love Jen, and I'm glad I love Lucia. And sometimes Lucia, I'm like, how am I going to navigate this next 10 minutes with her in this state? I'm like, well, I don't know. You know, I'm like, I look at Jen and I go, how did you do that? How did you navigate that? Why have I lost my shit and you haven't? I'm like, I don't know. I don't run around going, it's just a thought. I just live as a human being. And sometimes I get to sit quietly and I get to go, oh, do you know why you reacted like that? Because Jen's better than you. I don't think there's many people who disagree with that statement.
In terms of patience, possibly. I've gifted a bit more
You are
patience than you.
Gifted with patience. I am not gifted with patience.
And also you sometimes think she's a Jack Russell.
I do sometimes think she's a Jack Russell. Yeah. I love Jack Russells though.
You do.
I really love Jack Russells. Yeah. I think letting go of all of it is the key to peace. The principles aren't here to help us. They're here, full stop. They're just here. Not here to help. They're here, full stop. They're agendaless. They're perfect. Well, sorry, that's just my... Because I know that you're not on your own there, mate. People who want to use the principles as a bit of a thing. Principles aren't a thing. You are the principles. That's who you are. It's who everybody is. Conscious thinking mind. Infinite creative awareness. That's what we are. That's just what we are. But the thing is, the reason why Sid had to point it out was because we don't know that. We think we're this, we think we're that, we think we're an overthinker, we think we're somebody who wakes up and does this, we think we're this, we're that, we're the other, blah, 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 blah. It's like Jesus with his I am. You know, I am. He was just saying, repeat, I am. But what we want to do is we go, I am an overthinker. And then we identify with the overthinker part, as opposed to the I am part, which is the principles, conscious, infinite creative awareness. We identify with what that infinite creative awareness has created. We identify as that, and that's the source of our suffering. Of course, it's going to be suffering. It's not based in truth. The truth is the I amness of life in infinite creative awareness.
I think if any of us went looking at aspects of ourselves that we didn't like or wished were different, or like if you spent your whole day thinking, why am I not more patient with Lucia? I should be more patient. I should be more like Jenny.
Sometimes I do.
But I mean, you could preoccupy your mind with that for a
Right.
long period of time. And then sometimes I wish I was a morning person. I wish I could just get up and go in the morning. I wish I could get into an exercise routine. And like you can see that all of us will have areas of our life where we think there could be improvement. And the degree to which we then think about that will be how dissatisfied we feel with where we're at. And I think that's been the nice thing for me is I'm like, this is where I'm at, and I'm really grateful to be alive. I'm grateful to be able to experience. And like, there were certain things in our life after having Lucia that I found really challenging. And I said it to you, it's like I suddenly realized maybe after about a year and a half, there were certain areas where I was looking for the negative and I was looking for the negative and I was experiencing more and more of it. And then suddenly a new fresh thought popped in. I was like, but what are all the benefits and what am I grateful for? And suddenly my mind got flooded with all this stuff that had been there all along, but I hadn't noticed it. And I think it's where do we want to put our attention? And our feeling is the guide of that, of like, does this feel really nice to sit and think about how inadequate I am at getting up in the morning and how much better life would be if I could be like that person? Like, but we'll all do that to some degree or other. But I think that the point of the principles is that we allow our mind to just do what it does, take it as it comes, let it move through, not take it all so seriously. And it does pass through quicker. Like in a way, Dave, I wish I could wake up at 5:30 and not be able to get back to sleep because I definitely forget.
Well, you get up with Lucia, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Well, that's the
Yeah.
thing. That's all I have said to her. When you start sleeping through the night, I'm going to be one of those mums that makes pancakes in the mornings. So every time she sleeps for more than 8 hours in one go, I'm like, right, I have to make pancakes now because I've said this because I need more sleep. I'm going to be a mum that makes pancakes. But you can see we all do it, and I think we separate ourselves and think that our story or our problem is different, or I don't know. We just beat ourselves up, and
We just think
we're so negative
we think
about
we're
ourselves.
special. We think we're unique, which we are on one hand, but on the other hand, we're not. You
It's
know?
like, I don't see Lucia thinking about how unreasonable she's been sometimes, or like judging herself for waking up at 4 in the morning, or
No.
like she's just alive. And I was at a play centre the other day, and someone said to me, "I knew the moment I saw you two at the check-in desk. She's a character, isn't she?" I'm like, "She is a character.
She's some lass.
She's just she's this and then she's that, and it's like I just see experience flowing through her, and not all of it looks pleasant. And I think I'm really grateful for what I have seen around the principles, or the place in which I live from now, or however we want to describe it, because I don't worry about her in the same way. Like some of her meltdowns are like huge, and
So
some of her feelings that she has about she has very deep feelings about music or missing someone, or suddenly she'll get absolutely like flooded with tears. They're like, "I wish Rusty could be back here with us." Rusty was our little Jack Russell. And like she just feels it, and she feels this like loss and this desire for him. And then at some point that passes through, and then she's in a next moment, and she could be laughing at something, and it's just such a beautiful thing to watch
Such
and
a
experience.
gift of presence, isn't it? It's such an opportunity to observe presence in its most
Yeah,
perfect form.
it's like very raw.
Yeah.
And like she might be in the middle of a supermarket where she suddenly gets overcome with emotion, but she's not like, "I'm in a supermarket, I shouldn't," like she's just in feeling without any dialogue. And it's inspired. Like I love watching it, and I feel like I am more like that since being around her.
We when we sat down on our manifestation list
I thought
2021,
you were going to say when we sat down for dinner,
what was that?
tea bags.
Tea bags. God, she loves a tea bag.
She's obsessed with tea bags at the moment.
Yeah. Oh, God.
And a manifestation.
My old tree surgery mind just came back. Anyway, forget it. I'm not even going to say it.
Yeah.
Thank you. That was,
2020.
yeah, I mean, we
2021.
sat down on manifestation list. I thought I was a Jaffa, and to people who don't understand Jaffas, well, they're a seedless orange. I thought it was a Jaffa, and that's what we call them up north. And we sat down on our manifestation list in 2021 New Year's Eve, didn't we? And we first time ever we said we want a little girl. Biologically ours. We tried to be as specific as we could, didn't we? We wanted her to be free,
Healthy.
and 6 months later, Jen shows up waving a pregnancy test. So that year, Jen got pregnant, and yeah, bang in the middle of the year, wasn't it? June, I think it should be.
The end of June.
Yeah.
Or no, maybe July.
Was it? There or thereabouts. And yeah, Luce was born, and she was born as an Arian. Now, Aries archetype is freedom. And is she free? She freely feels. I mean, it scares Jenny because apparently a Libran is an Arian on their best behavior. I'm a Libran. So Jen's like, oh God, what's going to happen? Yeah.
I think it's just such a beautiful example of how we all came in, really. Like we weren't afraid to feel feelings, and then
Yeah.
we are afraid to feel, and we judge and we try and push away, and
Create a perfection model.
yeah, it's everything. One day to the next, one moment to the next. What's the song? You always
One day to the next, I can change my mind. No.
Yeah.
The birth.
just like that.
Bittersweet symphony. This life.
Wendy.
When?
I have a funny little Lucia story. just the other day, I sent Dave, I was in the UK and Lucy and I got palling around and we went to a place where they actually provided costumes, like this older home from the whatever, a long time ago. So they provided costumes. So Lucia put on, she looked like she was Anne of Boleyn, if you ask me. So I sent the photograph to Dave. I said, "Oh, look, a new royal." And he said, "Oh, yeah, but this one's probably likely to cut your head off." So it made me laugh because
Real
she
small.
she is a firecracker, that
Was it a
Lucia.
firecracker? Rules, was it rules more with tyranny or something, and more
Yeah,
like your head
yeah,
off?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, she'd be quite tyrannical and she might cut your head. She might go off with your head. But she looks quite regal, I think. She looks quite lovely. But
She looks angelic, doesn't she?
But what was it you told her that queens can't show their teeth?
oh well, yeah, I was trying to tell her that when you pose for a picture from the from the old days, you're supposed to, right? You in our day we say take a picture and everybody goes and they smile, but in those days you want to pose without, very formal and no. So in order to do it, I said no teeth. So she, go ahead. What did she interpret that?
That I can't be a queen because I've got teeth.
Yeah, yeah, with teeth. Yeah,
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 that's the only reason.
yeah. That's right. Keep that one. Keep that one close because yeah, that way you can discount yourself from the royal family. That'll be good.
Damn these teeth. Damn these teeth. All that stands between me and ruling this world.
That's right.
Ah. No, force of nature. But it's true.
Also, we've started realizing she is our memory. If we can't remember
That
somebody's
was
name,
amazing, wasn't it?
like Dave, we're talking about something completely not in relation to what we're speaking about, and you're like, "What's his name?
She's
What's
only
his
met him
name?"
like
And I said,
once or
"Hang on a minute,
twice.
Lucia. What's Poppy's boyfriend's name?" And she's like, "Elliot." I'm like, "Thanks,
Thanks,
Luce."
Luce. That's
We
perfect.
haven't seen them in months.
She's phenomenal. That's the thing, though. She's so bright, isn't she?
She's going to run
Yeah.
around both of
She's
us.
so bright. She just wants to do everything herself, and she's 3, and we're kind of like, slow down, don't do this, don't do that, take care. She's like, whatever. Yeah, she's here to experience. She's here. I remember that was one of the big insights a lady had who came and worked with us, wasn't it? She travelled over from New Zealand. We spent 4 days with her, and on the way back, she missed a train. So Jen and I,
Oh,
in our saintly ways, we like watching Fail Army. If anybody knows what Fail Army is, it's basically just video after video of people failing, like crashing a car or
And it always says
falling off a
no one,
bike.
nobody was badly
Yeah, it
injured.
usually says nobody was injured in this accident. Just stupid things like, and
But also, it's people just filming themselves doing the weird, like somersaults, or like people film themselves doing everything,
we'll jump
like,
off a bridge,
or doing their teeth,
a
or
wheelie bin full of
yeah.
water or something, and it'll go really wrong, and we'll just laugh. And she's like, "Why would people do that?" I'm
It's
like,
terrible.
"It wasn't. It was brilliant." And we're like, "People just want to experience. People just want to have that experience." And she said she got on the train, and halfway down, that statement came back in her head, and she said it hit me like a ton of bricks. And she said I had this massive insight, and then she went home and changed her life, didn't she? And but it is that, we're all here to have an experience, and we can go through this experience judging the shit out of ourselves all the way through, saying we're not good enough, we're not getting this, we're not getting you see, the thing we think we're not getting is a thing we've made up. The thing we think we're not getting is a thought that we've made up. It's an idea, it's a concept, it's an image of who we will become, or who we should be, and that's the thing we actually suffer. But we're not here to analyze ourselves to death. We're here to experience. And if that includes jumping off a roof into a wheelie bin full of water, who am I to judge?
I think that's the
Not
nice
back
thing
it,
as well.
so-
Like, even with the principles, people make up all these rules about if I understand the principles then.
Mm.
And I think, I don't know, I've felt freer and freer and freer
Mm.
through the principles. So it's a freedom. We're free. Our minds are free. Our minds are free to create in every single moment.
Full stop. That's it.
I think I love, like, we saw some friends a couple of weeks ago and she just said to me, oh, do you want some theta healing? I'm like, yes. I've got no idea what it is, but I love you. And you know what? I'm exhausted. I've been feeding Lucia at night for the last 3.5 years. I don't get a right lot of sleep, as you'd say it. Yes. And I've got no idea what it is. I don't know how it works, but I know that whenever I've been to see her in the past, I love it. I love that when we had a message from a friend saying that her brother had been involved in a car accident, I asked every single person I know that did healing. I asked anyone I knew on Facebook. Wendy saw it and asked her prayer group, can you pray? Can you send healing? Can you send love? Can you put this person in your mind and just think healing, think love? What? And I have no idea, but that family felt so held and so loved. And I feel like that's what we would have done in community.
Half of the things
Well,
that were supposed to have been done for him in the operation didn't need doing, did they?
well, you know, one of the operations that they were amazed it didn't have to be more serious than
Yeah.
what it was. And she said it felt like a miracle. Like, and over that week, it's the improvements have just been incredible. Now I think it must have been 3 weeks ago now, 4 weeks ago.
Probably 3 weeks, yeah.
3 weeks, yeah. It seems like a long time ago, but I think when I first came across the principles, and then over those first few years, I would have felt very nervous putting something like that on Facebook, thinking, oh, is healing allowed? If you just all this weird stuff I created around it, but I love how free the principles are. It's freedom.
It is total freedom.
Do what makes sense. I've been to see someone who I think was incredible, who did something called body stress release, and really helped my back. And also I had a really big release of emotion the next day, which I wasn't expecting.
Is that Therese?
Yeah. I don't know. I love homeopathy and seeing how homeopathy has worked. I'm like, I don't even understand it. It's this like tiny pill with like a fraction of
It's frequency, isn't it?
just all of it. I don't know. And I think that we're free to explore and do what makes sense to us. And I feel like
All principles.
the more that we align, we seem to do more beneficial things for our lives. Like I don't look to hurt another person to feel better myself. I feel like it's taking me in a direction of love, not fear and hate, and
Self-protection.
but it is freedom. We're
That's
not telling anyone how to live or what to believe. It's like this is how life is being created from the inside. And there is something so magical about life that I know I've scratched the surface of.
We've experienced what we would call miracle time after time after time after time, haven't we? We pray for something, we speak to what we want, and next day it shows up. And you're like, thank you. You know, the principles, mind, consciousness, thought, you can't know them. To know anything is to collapse infinity into a potential. You know, that's what knowledge is. That's why quite often it's our knowledge that really trips us up. It stops us from seeing something new. It stops us being open-minded. It stops us from listening to one another. It's our knowledge that's creating all the problems in this world, not what we don't know. What we don't know isn't creating all the problems in this world at the moment. It's what we think we know that's creating all the problems in this world at the moment. You can't suffer something you don't know. It's impossible because you don't know it to suffer. But when I had my experience, I was told there are gifts within consciousness and thought that mankind is not consciously evolved enough yet to utilize. So I know it's there. I know that within the principles, and it's not because of Sid, it's because it's just a fact that we are more powerful than anything we can even comprehend. We are more impactful than anything we can comprehend. We are more magical, spiritual, whatever you want to call it, infinitely. If you can think it, you can do it. You have to align with it, though. You have to align with it within your own being. Your being has to align with that potential. You know, there's no limit placed upon it. If we had a Rusty, we took him to the vet because he kept holding his paw like this, his back leg. Took him to the vets, he couldn't put it down, and she felt him, he snapped his cruciate ligament. Oh God. 16 was he? 15, 16? 15.
15 or 16, yeah.
She's an old dog. You have to think carefully because he's going to have to go under full anaesthetic. Go home, make your decision. So we went home and we started talking to his leg and healing him, giving him healing. Jen and I were laying down on the bed and we both put our hands on him and we spoke to his leg and we're saying, your leg is strong, your leg is well, your leg is whole. And we did that for 10 days, didn't we?
Yep.
Every day. And we
And
noticed.
one of the times he sicked up loads of black stuff.
Oh, he
didn't we?
did, yeah.
I mean, we got loads of people to do it with us.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
right. Oh, we did have some other healers on there, and he just spewed up all his blackness out of himself. And we took him to the vets 10 days later, and he's walking fine. And she went, "What did you do?" We said, "We just healed him." She went, "Keep doing it." She said, "It's healed. Keep going."
And it'd been like it for months.
Yeah,
It got progressively worse, hadn't it, until we took him to the
yeah. I was never keen on taking him to the vets. I'd always try and let him sort himself out, but yeah, it got pretty bad that we had to take him. But we healed, apparently, his snapped cruciate ligament, and he walked fine after that, didn't he? And
end.
we don't even know who we are, yet we think we know what we're not capable of.
That's why with Luce, like she'll say to me, "Well, can I magic it out of thin air?" And I say, "Well, I haven't been able to so far, but it might be possible." Like everything I speak to her about, I try and just say, "This is how I kind of see it now, but it might be possible. It could be possible." I just don't. I feel like my only role is to not limit the potential that exists within her, and I think you see in life we have
Try
gone,
and see it for yourself.
yeah. But then it has made me, and like she got really interested in, I don't even know where she heard about black holes, but she got interested in black holes and stars and what are they. So then we've gone and got these books and we read about them, but everything I'm saying to her is this is what we believe, given the equipment we have and the way that we measure things
And the way we've
from Earth,
interpreted it.
the way that we see it. I said, so this is the best we can do to
Best
kind of
guess, right.
explain the universe and try and think about things that happened 5 billion years ago. Like this is our best attempt.
What do you think?
Yeah, she said, "I don't want to go near a black hole." And I said, "I think that's a good idea."
She went, "A black hole? Do you know how far away a black hole is?" "No, Lucy." She went, "Further than Doug's." Doug's is our favourite cafe in Ulverston.
She's got priorities.
Yeah,
That's far.
that's far. And Doug is a benchmark for many, many things, isn't he?
She loves him.
Yeah.
But thank you, Joe, when you watch this and catch up, for sending me a description of what a black hole was
Yeah.
as simply as you could. You did actually lose me a couple of times, and I've listened to it a few times, and then we've listened to it together, and then she still had more questions. I'm like, I don't even understand this, but at some
I'll ask Luce about
I
it.
know ask Luce. She'll remember.
That's so funny.
Yeah. It's 9 o'clock. Thank you all so much. Wend, thank you so much for opening up with that conversation today. Sarah, thanks for sharing. Div, thanks for sharing.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So much for being here. We really, really appreciate you taking the time to be here. Thank you.
Thanks.
We'll be back on next Monday.
Yep.
Yeah, back on next Monday, 7 p.m. UK time. Anybody who wishes to make a donation, look in the description below. Like I say, friends and family PayPal is always best for us. But thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, between us, I think we're all just, if we can all just, would everybody, after the pause recording, those who wish to go, but those who wish to stay, stay. And if they want to just spend 5 minutes, and we'll just send love to this world and send love to the people who have who've lost during this time. Okay, let's just send love to everybody who needs it. So thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Lots of love.
Take care. Bye.